And I'm live. Let's see if this has worked. Yeah, okay. Right. So I have my computer here. I have this weird system where I'm going to mute myself on that. And now I'm back to you guys. Okay. So I put the links in the description of what I'm going to be talking about today. And the question that I left for you guys is if INFPs have a need to dominate. Okay, this is something that I've heard too many times to count. It kind of makes no sense. Like, I haven't heard much about Socionics, and yet this is what I hear from C.S. Joseph and Vondelpete. And it's this Wikisocion page that because I was like, where does this come from? I don't understand Socionics. Okay. So yeah. Everybody say hi. I don't know. I'll say hi to whoever is going to say hi in the live stream while I'm looking for the page. Maybe I should go to, oh, Caddis21, hi. Let's see. So, oh, Vondelpete is here. Hi. And Maynard is here. Hi. Okay. I have the pressure here now because Vondelpete is here to determine if, like, that's the INFPs really want to dominate. Schumann is also hi. Great to see you all. Your emojis are broken. Well, we can understand that face anyway. Okay, so I was going to read out the paragraph 8 out of the Wikisocion INFJ/ESTJ site, because in Socionics, INFP is the INFJ with a little j, the EII, and the dual of the INFP is the ESTJ, which is also ESTJ and MBTI. And so basically, like, the INFP is like the ESTJ because we have the same functions. But I wouldn't say that ESTJs have a need to dominate. Like, sure, they want to organize stuff, but I don't know if they have a need. I don't think that any person has a need to dominate. So we have to keep in mind that Socionics is translated from Russian. So maybe it's a little bit of a less harsh word in Russian. I don't know if anybody knows Russian. I don't know. Also, Socionics is like a whole world that I don't understand and I don't really want to understand, which will disappoint a lot of you guys. I know. I know, but what can I say? This is a whole new world, and like, I have other things to do in my life than to read Socionics. But the EII, they often talk about Dostoevsky for some reason. I guess that Dostoevsky was an EII. I don't know. Manad, oh, Kit says hello. Hello, Kit. And it could be a cultural understanding of dominate. Yes, well, so I don't know what the Russian meaning of dominates is in English. Anyway, so Dostoevsky is supposed to be like the quintessential INFP according to this description. And it says, okay, so paragraph 8, EII, the need to dominate. For Dostoevsky, it is important to be the one who directs, teaches, and instructs. Okay. Hello, Musing Mindscapes. I always get your name wrong. I'm sorry. Hello. The instinctive right to correction, in citation marks, for the EII is not only a psychological defense, allowing him or her to be above criticism and thus feeling free from it. Okay, so I've read a little bit about the right to correction, which is basically that we think that we're better than everybody else. Up in the earlier paragraphs. So it's being above criticism. We don't like criticism, so I'm sure I understand that, but I don't really like, well, that this means that we want to dominate others. It is also a method to obtain compensation on reconstructive, corrective, involutionary aspects of NE, FE, SE, and TE, and a program of full-fledged expansion. And planned natural conquest via stepwise broadening of sphere of opportunities and privileges on the evolutionary constructivist aspects. FI, TI, SI, NI. Alexander says, hi. Okay. So apparently we have a need for conquest by broadening your sphere of opportunities and privileges. I can see TE being a little bit like that. But like I'm really stretching it, you know? Yeah, Germany. Also, Schumann is in Germany. We're all over the world. So, okay, let's go on. With his remarks, statements, and criticisms, yeah, okay, the EII tries to make up for the lack of attention, care, and beneficial services coming from his partner. This essentially constitutes EII's way of pulling the privileges over to his side. Oh, okay, wait. Somebody is writing smart things in here. Maynard says, another word for dominate could translate to inspire or motivate. Well, that makes more sense. But a lot of Socionics people, I love Socionics people. You guys are really nerdy as hell, and I like nerdy people. And you're way too smart for the rest of us, but sometimes you use your knowledge as like a weapon to like say that you're better than everybody else. Sorry, sometimes I get a little bit annoyed at people who use Socionics in a bad way by making everybody that's not their own type have covert problems, such as the INFPs need to dominate. And by that I mean C.S. Joseph. And basically only C.S. Joseph. But yeah, I can see inspiring, though I would think that maybe the INFJ or the ENFP would be more motivating, maybe inspiring. Maybe INFPs can be inspiring. Okay, Schumann, I don't understand German. Okay, wow, you find all this yourself? Well, basically, I got a commenter on my channel tell me that I had a need to dominate. And I'd heard that before. I'd heard that before by C.S. Joseph and Vondelpete's parodies of C.S. Joseph. And I'd heard that before also on MBTI forums, like a long time ago, back before I was on YouTube and stuff. But I couldn't reconcile it with like what INFPs are. So, and I was like, I don't want to dominate people. And so I ended up in a big discussion with this commenter. And in the end, this commenter said that I had a slave mentality. And so therefore, I was talking in an echo chamber and a lot of stuff. And so I blocked this person. And so then I Googled like the phrase like INFPs need to dominate Socionics, and I came up with this site. Unfortunately, I had tried to joke with this person that like he was part of the Vondelpete cult. He didn't get the joke, and that was unfortunate though, because it made me seem like a total crazy person. But okay, it doesn't matter. But that's how I got. It was a pretty easy Google search. It was just that reading all this wiki socio stuff is kind of difficult. Anyway, let's get back to this. I mean, it's a short snippet, but it's a lot of dense text. That's all. Different information. A good conversation at least. Thanks, Aphrodite. And Aphrodite Darkstar. Why do you block them if you ended up and make a video about it? No, they weren't trying to help me, Maynard. I wish I was more forces so this person got the joke about my cult. Yeah. It would have been funny. Like, I genuinely thought that the person was making a joke by saying that I had a need to dominate. Why did I block them if I ended up making a video? Well, sometimes I'm petty like that, okay? Maybe I do have a need to dominate, and because my channel, I'm a dictator on this channel, which I've said before, actually. Sometimes I need to have some mental peace, and I'm allowed to say what I want on this channel, and not you. No, I allow for free speech, but I have made a video about free speech, so YouTube is not free speech. It is total censorship. So, yeah. Sometimes my discussions don't really make sense. But what can you do? I'm not going to talk more about this person. I'm actually not interested in the comments that this person made. I was interested mostly in like, what does Socionics think about INFPs that leads to such misunderstandings? That's why I'm making this video. And also because it gives me a topic of conversation during these lives. I really wanted to do a live and to talk to you guys, but you know, you guys are often quite quiet. So I have to find a controversial clickbaity topic for you to come here and talk. Okay, so anyway, we apparently say a lot of criticisms, and the EII. So I'm guessing that what they're talking about on this page is what an ESTJ INFP relationship would be like. And you're fine. Fine. With the criticism, I think that it's because the INFP does not feel very valued by the ESTJ. So I don't think that ESTJ INFP relationships, they can work, but it will lead to some power imbalances stuff. So I think that the INFP, the EII, wants to pull privileges over to his side specifically in the INFP ESTJ relationship, because the ESTJ otherwise holds all the power in terms of like having strong TE to organize the outside world. So that's why the INFP tries to make up for the lack of attention, care, and beneficial services. I don't think that INFPs are dissatisfied in all the relationships, but maybe they're kind of dissatisfied with an ESTJ. That's just my take on why this page says this. This is where it gets pretty weird. The more the EII, the INFP, is taken care of, the more attention she or he requires, which kind of makes no sense. Like, wouldn't you need less attention now? Anyway, from his side, the EII pays a lot of attention to his new acquaintances and friends. Yes, the closer the EII becomes to a person, the more he thinks of them. Yes, I do. I think about my friends a lot. And therefore he demands a report from them. No. Where were you and what were you doing? What, were you thinking of me? I was thinking of you. When were you thinking of me? Me too. I could feel that you were thinking of me. This is why I'm calling you. No, I don't really do ask for a report. I don't demand a report from my friends of what they're doing. I do want to know like what my friends are doing. Yeah, Schumann, true, but I'm getting there. Yes, sometimes I'm like, oh, I was thinking of you, so I'm calling you. So I can see me saying that, but it wasn't like, it's not like I'm demanding my partner or friend or somebody else to think of me as much as I think of them. I know that I think of them much more than they think of me. Like, it's kind of the default. Then it says, for the EII, it is very important to be the possessor of the mind of his partner, to enter into close personal contact with this person, yes, to build a close soulful connection with him at close distance, yes, and then proceed to keep the person at this distance and not lose ground, okay? Well, so it's not like I want to possess a person, but I do want to build close connections with people. But I don't want to like trap them in that or like force them into this situation. I just like building connections. So the way that this is described is kind of weird. Hey, Psychastral. You can tell me about ESTJ grips, because we're talking about the ESTJ and the INFP relationship, which seems not great, according to this Socionics page. As a result, a particular model of relations is built with which the EII can effortlessly manipulate his partner, keep him under constant moral and psychological dependence, entangle him with various requests and obligations, requiring attention to his persona and ever-increasing amount of care, and know of all his partner's plans, intentions, and actions, thus obtaining all the necessary information about him or her. Isn't this a little too much to ask for? These are only the starting requirements. Okay. Oh, this is sad. If I ever manipulate a person, it will never be effortlessly, okay? I cannot do that. Also, I can't even keep anybody under my dependence because I'm so useless that way. And also, I do not entangle these people requiring an increasing amount of care and to know all of the plans, intentions, and actions. I do want to know as much as possible about the person that I love or that I like am in a friendship with, because I just find it really interesting to find out about people. But I'm not like requiring it to like be friends with a person. So yes, it is a bit too much to ask for, but that's not what I'm asking for. So this was one paragraph, one chapter out of this long page. And unfortunately, this is what I hear about Socionics. Like, I don't hear about a lot of other theories in Socionics, like generally online. Like, you know, I hear about the blind function, and that's pretty useful, and like SE blind, and I hear about the critical parent a little bit, and that kind of thing. And I hear a little bit like useful stuff. But then I hear like the INFPs need to dominate. And it's like somebody must have been propagating this specific like snippet of an article to like misrepresent all the INFPs on the internet. So that's where I feel like the Socionics community, maybe should do something else with their lives. Okay, let me get back. Okay. Okay. Mojo. Mojo Arm Stretch. I like your name, Mojo Arm Stretch. ESTJ is the shadow of INFP. Yes, it is. That's why it's called dual in Socionics, which makes much more sense in Socionics, apparently, because the functions, they have like correlations and stuff. I don't know. But so I think dominate to a point, yes, not to meet an end. Can you explain that a little bit better, Mojo? Because I think that everybody has different definitions of dominate. For me, dominate means that you're putting yourself above another person and like crushing them, oppressing them. Like the person in the comments that was doing the comment, he tried to explain that that I was trying to dominate people by being a leader here on YouTube, which being a leader is not exactly the same thing as dominating. Also, I don't think that INFPs ever have a need to be a leader. Like maybe some do, but dominating, not really. To confirm, not to control. How can you dominate to confirm and not to control? In my mind's domination is about controlling other people. So how can you? I'm going to have to look up the definition of domination, like an evil person does. World domination. Now let's see. Domination. Dominate. Let's see. Maybe it was a translation error, says Schumann. Well, that's what I think. I was thinking actually about something that my violin teacher told me a long time ago. There is, okay, wait, Supercat is here. Hi. I think there is no need to be a leader, but to be led every step on your own way, which makes other people confused. But not to be led, yes. To mean not to an end. Oh, I just get more and more confused about the definition of dominate. Let's see what Oxford Languages says about the word dominate. Dominate, have power and influence over. Well, having power, I don't think that INFPs are really interested in power per se. Influence, maybe. Maybe we'd like to have influence on things. But in general, we'd rather not. Wait, let me go back. I'm missing all of your comments. To mean, not to an end. Psycastral is wondering why I'm exploring Socionics. I hate Socionics. I don't like Socionics, but I got a commenter who basically said that I had a need to dominate, and so I made a joke about, oh, are you part of the C.S. Joseph or the Vondelpete cult? Because that is something that we joke about in this community, but unfortunately the person didn't get the joke. And so I started thinking, like, why do I keep hearing that INFPs have a need to dominate from these socionic nerds? And yeah. yes, maybe the commenter was projecting. I don't care, but like I don't care about the commenter, but it made me curious about like, like where do people get this idea from? We want to dominate our own lives. Yes, exactly. That is kind of the point I'm trying to get to in this video. Thank you, Alexander Washman. But yes, there is probably a translation error because dominate. It's like Castro says, dominate what? Our daydreams. Oh, yes. Oh, Vondelpete says, for me, INFPs have a need not to be dominated. Yes. And I sometimes feel like there are people who will be so stung by this that they'll accuse INFPs of wanting to dominate. Of course, INFPs and INTPs are some of the types most unlikely to dominate people. Yeah. It's just that, like, I've seen this too many times now for it to just be a coincidence. So I just felt like I had to find the culprit, this article, like that's published by Wikisocion as like a very serious article, but it doesn't put the EII, the INFP, into good light. And I'm probably missing a ton because I don't understand Socionics. But yeah, I don't really understand this article. But I guess that's what you're meaning, Mojo Armstretch. Oh, wait. Mojo Armstretch said, I want to know for knowledge sakes, but not an alternative motive. Not for an ulterior motive. Okay. Oh, well, I can see that we want to know about a person's life, but not to manipulate them. But that's a whole other question, you know? Like, we want to get to know people that we love, but like, we're not going to do anything bad with that information. We want to be ourselves and let everyone else be themselves. If someone tries to dominate us, we get pissed. Yes. I mean, if you've seen the video that I posted early on this channel, that's like, please don't give me advice. It was so frustrating to all of the INFJs on here. It really pissed them off. It really did. And I know that older INFP Insights made a similar sort of video, like don't try to control us. We get pissed. Yes, we do. Nothing against you INFJs. It's just they're the second most common type of person that goes to my channel, according to a certain poll that I did, which maybe doesn't mean anything. But yeah. You've also noticed this with INFPs, though. Oh, that we get pissed? And INTPs? That we don't like to be dominated? Oh, we really don't. But I think that we're more likely to just let everybody do their own thing and not want our advice to like push anybody into any direction. We just want people to make their own decisions for themselves. I mean, other types like ENFJs and INFJs also claim that they like they don't want to push anybody onto the right path, but they kind of do so subconsciously. Like they're so used to doing it in just their way of being, because a lot of people come to them for advice. That I don't think that they're always aware of that's like that they have more impact than what they think that they do. It's kind of the part of having the inferiority. They have impact. I think INFPs, we don't even know what the concept of impact and power is. We're just like, what's going on? You know? Like we can see it on the outside, but like, oh, this person is powerful, you know, but like I don't think that like I can see the power structures and like how people are exerting as well as some types do. I don't know. I'm not explaining myself well. I feel like I've missed like 10,000 comments, but maybe not. Let's go back. Vondelpete said, one thing I love about these Socionics articles is they seem so pretty, like based on one very unique, petty, oh yes, petty, like based on one very unique experience with one INFP, INFJ. Yes, like who wrote this article? I don't even know. It's by Stratievskaya. I'm sorry that you had such a bad experience with INFPs. Vera Stratievskaya. Oh, she had a blog entry from 2010. I mean, this is old stuff for MBTI Socionic standards. Okay, so the page redirects to a Russian site, like a Russian blog, and I guess that it's her blog from the 29th of March, I guess, 2010. I'll just show you maybe like what the screen looks like. It's like that. That's why Socionics is kind of, you know, like we're regressing to the USSR period. I get a little bit creeped out when I go to these pages. Nothing against Russian people. I love them. It's the USSR that was pretty creepy. Let's go to back to the chat. Like those pictures of those people were really creepy. Anyway, I guess it's like Psycastral's current ESTJ grip. I've met so many ESTJs who are openly domineering. Not all, but a lot. But then again, it's an opposite type for a reason. Yes. Well, yes, but that's kind of the point, I guess, that the Socionics article makes, is that INFPs like ESTJs because they're like ESTJs when under stress. And that our flaws are basically ESTJ flaws. Like, I don't know. Socionics is confusing. Curious about the reason why you dislike Socionics? It just doesn't make any sense. And also it's too complicated. My brain is like not... I don't know if it was Vondelpete or Schumann or who it was, but I think it was Vondelpete. You said that Socionics was MBTI for NT types, which I definitely agree. Like, it's very technical and very cold, and it feels like it's not really describing people. It's like describing aliens, you know, from another planet or something. And it's just too complicated. Like, I don't think that a single system can encapsulate the entirety of human relations in existence. So my issue with, and also the terminology, it just feels a little bit more like mumbo jumbo. I'm not really into very Jungian, you know, stuff that is connected to Freud, and I've never studied psychology, so I'm just very interested in psychology. But so I don't really know the basics enough in order to feel like I'm correctly engaging with Socionics texts. I also dislike the people who are really into socionics and who think that they know everything about people. Usually INTPs, INTJs, INFJs, ENTPs maybe, who are really into socionics and who like think that I'm dumb for not wanting to really engage in that. Like, we all have a certain mental bandwidth I can't really get over. Wait, what's going on? So yeah, it's maybe not a logical reason for why I dislike socionics, but I don't like it. Okay, that's my FI, just being illogical. I don't like it. I used to have a friend who brought up a similar topic with me many years ago. He claimed I manipulated him, which was extremely confusing. Yeah, unfortunately, it's happened to me not that long ago, and I lost one of my best friends ever because of that. And it has really thrown me into a loop. But I'm most of the time I really am oblivious to things, and that is a problem in itself. But it's not that I'm actively trying to manipulate people. I like socionics as long as it doesn't get too definitive or preachy. Yeah, that's kind of a issue that I have with it, is that it's sometimes a little bit preachy. Jabaya J says, good, some are willing to dominate, so I don't have to. That's the spirit. Some see manipulation only where there might be influence or disagreement. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes you're just disagreeing with another person, and that doesn't mean that there's any manipulation going on. I made a video about gaslighting, which I kind of regret now because it wasn't really gaslighting, some of the stuff that I was going through. It was actually just being in disagreement or people not being entirely truthful to me, that kind of thing. I think Vondelpete, you said it was by INTPs or something. Haha. Yes, it was, yes, exactly. Mojo Armstrong says, like we are in charge of our inner lives and not much else. So we don't think it's too much to ask what's going on in other people's conscious mind. Like, what do you think honestly right now? Tell me. Yeah, I see that. I see that. I know that a lot of people don't really know what's going on in their heads compared to INFPs. Like, we know what's going on. Even though it's chaos, like, we kind of know. But sometimes we don't really know what to say, you know, like what part of the opinion we want to say. But I do want to know, like, what people think about things. And I don't think that that's like manipulating people into possessing them, you know. Vondelpete says, I think on the Joyce Meng channel, I forget who she was interviewing, they said it was created by an INTP couple. Oh, that would make sense. That would make sense. On another note, MBTI is sexy, Socionics is not. Oh, exactly. That's why Socionics has such crappy pictures. Like the picture that I just showed you guys, compared to the pictures on the 16 personality types, which is very cute. You can say what you want about the 16 personalities website, but the pictures are cute, okay? The Socionics pictures are not cute, nor sexy in any way. So yeah. Okay. How long have we been going on like this? I've been going on for 40 minutes. Okay. I had no idea something like Socionics existed. Sounds like a fun rabbit hole for the weekend. Fipage. I never know how to say your name, but I've seen you on Instagram. You'll be in the rabbit hole for more than a weekend. Vondelpete, what I like about Socionics is the recognition of the shadow functions mainly, and their theories of intertype relations to a small degree. That's fair. I admire your dedication to the craft, okay? I like my brain power is not doing too well. C.S. Joseph say he's Socionics as well, which is why I originally got into it and realized he's ripped off the system and claimed it as his own. Yeah, okay, well that's one thing that I have in common with C.S. Joseph then. I hate Socionics. Yeah. I do like that it talks about shadow functions. And it does say certain things about intertype relations. A little bit. But mostly it's the shadow functions. The fact that the SE blind thing is pretty useful thing to know. Because like, why would I have more problems with SE things than, say, an INFJ? You know, has it as their last function in the normal function stack. Yeah. But yeah, so Fipage, I hope that you're not going to go into too far down the rabbit hole. But you can, maybe you can tell me something about it once you're at the end of that. On another note, guys, I've not been having a good week, so that's why I'm having the windows open and everything, and I'm doing this during the daytime, because yeah, I left my my pasta on the stove once again, and almost destroyed my apartment again, and almost went into burnout again. So I just felt like I'd rather do this in a live than do an actual video about it. I'm looking for, wait, I have all these definitions now up on my screen. I'm like drowning in tabs. Okay, well, so the next thing on my list of things to talk about, unless you guys, like, you guys are welcome to just write about anything. I'm just here providing a possibility of what we can talk about. The next thing is what I've discovered in my rabbit hole of autism videos, okay? Because I'm long story short, I'm in the diagnostic process for ADHD or autism. And don't ask me how I got here. I don't really know. I'm there now. And when I'm not looking at MBTI videos or videos about religious cults, I'm looking at videos about autism. And I've been watching hours worth of content from different YouTube creators. I especially recommend Mom on the Spectrum. She's really good. And I've also been looking at other people, and I don't have their names. I'll put them in the description later. And there's a certain brand of autism, profile of autism, that is called Pathological Demand Avoidance. And unfortunately, this is me, okay? The reason I'm including this in this video is because it kind of has to do with the desire to dominate, or basically the desire to be in control over your own life, but not about controlling others, you know. And so people with pathological demand avoidance often call themselves persistent drive for autonomy, which is shortened as PDA, which is not, it is not public displays of affection, okay? This is This is a subtype of autism spectrum disorder. It is not a medical diagnosis. It's just something that a lot of people in the autistic community relate to. And if we look at Wikipedia, it's defined by it's a disorder defined by characteristics such as a greater than typical refusal to comply with requests or expectations and extreme efforts to avoid the social demand. Any expectation, even familiar, routine activities for highly desired activities, such as getting ready to leave home to visit the playground, this is for children, mind you, can trigger avoidant behavior, and if the demand cannot be avoided, a panic attack or meltdown may ensue. So this is often for autistic children who are on the higher functioning end of the spectrum. Once again, highly functioning is relative, and all of these terms are controversial. Okay, but I've looked at this, and even though I was an extremely good child, like always doing what everybody told me to do, I wasn't happy about it. And I can relate to 10,000 things on this symptom list that is like scary, you know? And I did a PDA test, and I got 41 out of 50, which means like high risk of having PDA. Now, you're probably asking yourself, like, why do you keep labeling yourself and putting yourself into smaller and smaller and smaller boxes? I'm trying to understand what's going on in my brain, and sometimes that's what I have to do. Okay. And if nobody is going to stop me, then I'm just going to keep talking about this rabbit hole. Okay. And also, I got 79 out of the 90 total for this. And so I put the link in the description box. It's a PDA test for adults because, you know, most of these autism scales are for children. So, by the way, something that I've seen you guys do in the comments was do book recommendations. Right now I'm reading a book called Unwell Woman by Eleanor Cleghorn. It's about the history of women in medicine. Really, really interesting. So I highly recommend that. I'm also reading, I've started The Bell Jar. I just have 10,000 books started and I haven't like completed. And I'm going to be starting The Lord of the Rings because I've only read The Hobbit, basically. Thank you, Supercats. The attempt to make sense of life and yourself is entirely understandable. I'm just saying that I think that this PDA test, even though it's only for people with autism and I don't have autism, what I know of, like I want to make the disclaimer clear, I'm not tested autistic, I'm not diagnosed autistic, but there's a lot of stuff that makes kind of sense. I think that this test might be relatable for INFPs. Because we are impossible people to deal with. We are impossible to dominate. Okay? Anyway, so there are 50 questions in this PDA traits questionnaire. And so I'll go through them and I'll be reading your comments in the meantime. This is just a way to pass the time. Do you find it difficult to do simple things that other people find easy? Yes. Okay. Does praise always make you feel good? No. Sometimes it's a demand on my system, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react now? Do you find it easier to do tasks that you have to do as opposed to optional tasks? No. I want to do the optional tasks. I don't want to do the task that I have to do. That makes it like harder for me. Oh, wait, I need to charge my computer, otherwise it will die. Do you find it more difficult to complete tasks when people are watching? Yes. I hate when people are watching me do tasks. Do you feel a need to take control but dislike being placed in charge? Yes. Okay, that is my need to dominate. Okay, I want to have control. I don't want to be placed in charge. So that's hard. That's probably my desire to dominate, Do you find it helpful if someone reminds you to do a task? This was hard to answer because it's like yes and no sometimes. Like sometimes it's good if someone reminds me because I've totally forgotten, but sometimes it's just annoying. So I put no. Like I don't like when somebody reminds me. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then somebody says, oh, have you done this? And then suddenly I don't want to do it, and it's like, oh, okay. I don't understand my brain. Okay. Do you feel unable to control your reactions in a situation despite past experience? And there, it's also kind of yes, no, I'm not sure. My initial reactions, yes. But like I can put them under control later. But yeah. Do you feel like others are always wrong, even though you know logically that isn't true? No. Often I feel like I'm the one who's always wrong. So there, I don't relate. Do you dislike imposed routine? Yes. I don't like when people tell me what to do. Have you ever struggled in work or school due to the amount of work required of you? Yes. Do you tend to avoid routine tasks on a daily basis, such as washing, eating, dressing, sleeping, and going out? Yes. Do you find it easy to do things you enjoy, such as hobbies or interests? No, unfortunately. It's hard for me to like get started on like reading a book, like getting the focus into that. Have you struggled to tell when you are feeling anxious or believed you rarely feel anxious? Yes, sometimes it's hard for me to know, like, is this anxiety or what is it I'm feeling? Sometimes I thought, oh, I don't feel anxious. And then it's like, well, what about this time? Oh, yeah, that was anxiety. Are you often anxious or on edge? Yes. Do you feel anxious when pressured to do something, even if it's easy? Yes. I don't like when people are like, oh, can you fetch me this from the kitchen? And I'm like, wait, which drawer should I choose? It's an unfamiliar environment and stuff. And I don't like when people pressure me to do stuff, even if it's an easy thing. Do you spend more time delaying or avoiding a task than it would take to actually do it? Yes, definitely. I procrastinate like a monster. Okay. Are there days where you can do lots of tasks and days where you struggle with simple things such as dressing and eating? Yes, but that could be depression, Yeah, but it can also be ADHD. It can be all sorts of things. Do you feel automatically driven to behave like a different person when in a public setting, like you're wearing a mask? Sometimes, but not always. So there I put no. It's not, I'm automatically driven to do this. But I know that I have to put a mask on. I think that's kind of the healthy thing to do. Are you prone to panic attacks? There I put no, but maybe I am. But compared to some people, maybe not exactly panic attacks. It's mostly that I just feel upset very easily. Do you feel that everyone is equal, regardless of age, race, gender, social status? Yes. Who would say no? Okay. Have you had obsessions about certain people? Okay, here we come to paragraph 8 of the Socionics. For example, wanting to know everything about them, be around them all the time, feel jealous when they spend time around other people. Yes, unfortunately. This characterizes all my early friendships. I was like, I want to be around them all the time. I want to know everything about them. Maybe I wasn't feeling like jealous when they're around other people, but I'd feel lonely. Do you make up new words sometimes for things or people? Or deliberately mispronounce words? Yes. I mean, I think the INFPs do this. Are you prone to hyper/silly behavior? Yes. Do you feel an impulsive need to get things done straight away? No. Often I procrastinate for ages. Do you need to be able to choose for yourself? Yes. Does lack of choice make you feel out of control, panicky? Yes. Do you like to do the same thing over and over until it becomes boring, then move on to something new? For me, yes. I know that a lot of INFPs would probably say no. But that's kind of the thing with autism. You kind of do the same things again and again. Because it's kind of comforting, you know. But maybe it's just an INFP and the FISI loop, you know. Do you feel anxious/panicky if someone doesn't follow your instructions correctly or when they deviate from the plan? And I put no, but actually probably yes. Like if somebody deviates from the plan, that kind of like stresses me out. I know that has happened before, like when my ENFJ friend decided to not take the same train as me when we went to a concert together. That made me feel anxious. So maybe I actually have more than 41 out of 50 on this list, which is a scary thought. That's a scary thought. Do you like making changes in certain environments, such as rearranging the furniture in your home? No, not generally. Sometimes it's okay, but most of the time I like having things in their set place. Are you able to cope with waiting for things? No. I don't like waiting for things. I don't like the uncertainty of that. As a child, did you dislike being made to stand out, even if this intended to make things easier for you? Yes, I did not like to stand out. I wanted to be invisible. Do you dislike being criticized or are critical of others? Yes. I don't like being criticized, but I can be critical of others. I try to not do this. I try to be better at taking criticism, but it is hard. And I think that is something INFPs have to work on. Do you feel everyone should follow the rules all the time, even though you find it difficult to follow them yourself? Yes, unfortunately. Do you question rules, regulation, laws? Yes. I do, but I don't say it out loud. I just like feel like, ugh, this rule is dumb. Have you ever been described as being manipulative? Yes, by the Wikisocial page. Okay, please, guys, please write things. Let me look at what you have written. Wait. Whoa, Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I like Lord of the Rings. I'm not very far in because I'm just reading 10,000 books at the same time. Repetition of the same things over and over again. I'm sure lots of INFPs do feel they do that. I do anyway, and most that I know are like that. SI child, I guess. Yes. It's the FISI loop. We just like doing the same things. We like eating the same things for breakfast and that kind of thing. And that's kind of the appeal of like certain hobbies like crochet and knitting and that kind of thing is a lot of the same repetitive movements. Anyway, I'm on question 36. Do you cancel plans at the last minute? Yes. Are you non-competitive so that you don't mind losing coming last? Yes. I don't care about competition. Sometimes I do, but it's like I really have to be invested in that. Otherwise, I don't care. Have you ever been described as controlling? Not that I know of, but maybe there would be somebody who would call me that. So no. Do you daydream rich imaginative worlds? Yes, I'm an INFP. Have you used role play, pretend play to cope with tasks or social situations? Yes. There's this joke on the internet about like creating a work sauna. Like, oh, I am now a professional, and I have never wanted to take a break ever in my life. And so you take on this persona of this person who is like a perfect work colleague, and so like pretending kind of helps cope with the situation that sucks. So you kind of role play a person, a character, in order to cope with the demands of daily life. Has the thought of a task caused you so much anxiety it's felt impossible to even start it? Yes. Are you unable to tell lies even if you want to delay or avoid things? No. I can definitely tell a lie if I want to delay or avoid things, but it's not easy. So no. Do you feel constrained by social expectations, such as having to say please and thank you, or having to smile? Yes, I do it, but I don't like it. Do you struggle to admit it if somebody tells you you've done something wrong? Yes, but I can admit it in the end, but it is a struggle. I think it's like that for most human beings, but okay. Do you feel unable to control your reaction to things emotionally and or physically? Yeah, yes. I get all these emotional reactions, and it's like not physical reactions though, but emotional reactions. So yes. Do you use charm to help with social negotiations? Yes. I'm pretty charming or cute at least, so that helps. It helps being female and cute. Yeah, that's the one time I can use my female privilege or whatever. I do want to tell you guys that I don't know what to say, but Bufopraglanis has been back on YouTube, and I love her videos. But she's going through a lot, and I've seen a lot of people on there be kind of mean in the comments. So when people are mean in our comments, in my comments, and her comments, and we INFPs like question our reality a lot, and so it makes us kind of like question everything all the time. And I can see Bufa Preglet going through the same thing right now, and she's guilt tripping herself about having female privilege and stuff, and it's like that it's not okay. Okay, so I know that some people that are watching here watch her channel as well. So I just want to say that, please be supportive to YouTube creators, whoever they are. Sorry I got off track. It just makes me sad to see sometimes. I don't know. Why do I feel the need to like defend a stranger on the internet? We have a kinship, okay? We have a kinship, being INFPs and female. Do you feel drawn to people but find them irritating? Yes. Sorry. I like people. It's just that I find them irritating as well. You can feel both at the same time. Do you feel angry or annoyed if a task requires more time, energy than you expected? Yes. Ugh. Do you tend not to tell other people when starting a new project because others knowing makes it harder for you to complete it? Yes. But sometimes I will do the opposite, and I'll be like, I have to tell another person that I'm starting a new project, otherwise it won't get done. So it's it's hard. It's hard to know where the balance of that is. Do you feel a need to control your environment, often to ensure things go as you prefer them to? Yes, but I don't have the capacity of controlling my environment. So that's where I need to dominate, because I need to control my environment. Okay, and then it says a score of 41 to 50 indicates very likely to have pathological demand avoidance. So there we go. I have 41. So I don't know what you guys think of this. This is very niche and unrelatable video. Oh, people are writing things. I found that I need to do more worksona working here in Sweden as opposed to other countries. I think just standing out and being unconventional makes people more nervous here, lol. That's interesting. I'm trying to think like how it would be if I was working in France. I think that it would be more worksona in France, but maybe it depends on what you work with. I think that I would have to like be more extroverted if I was in France, so that would be my worksona. But also in Sweden, you're expected to be a little bit more efficient and to be more serious, or like Sweden is a very homogenous culture, even though they try to have immigrants come. It's difficult to integrate immigrants because the culture has been like for a long time in history. Sweden has been a monoculture of just Swedes, you know, and they have their ways of doing things. I mean, unfortunately, France was a colonizing country, and so they've had multiculturalism for a longer time because of that. But in Sweden, that hasn't been the case. So there is a certain sort of stuff that you have to do in order to be accepted by the majority. And if that includes owning a boat, playing golf, like, you know, being in the elite, me being a doctor, I see these, you know, the stereotype for me is like the orthopedic doctors who, like, they're like a macho group, mostly guys, and then they all go and I haven't met an orthopedic doctor that doesn't go play golf, okay? And at least in Sweden, they all seem to play golf. They play golf, and then they have their markers of social success and stuff. And if you're not in that world, it's hard to like put yourself into that world. And I think that that's kind of how the world feels for autistic people. Everyone is like, it feels like you're an alien wherever you go. And I think INFPs feel this too in the SJ world, like you're an alien wherever you're going. But certain environments might be better than others. Supercat says it reminds me of the surgeons from Scrubs. Yeah, well, orthopedic doctors are super chill, and I love being around them. They're always chill, and they like, but you can see that they don't really put you on the same level as them if you're not in their little gang. And the little gang is like, you know, a certain cultural norms, social norms that don't exist in other places, you know. Oh, Pipesh says maybe that is an overgeneralization and just the particular situations that I ran into. What other countries have you worked in? I've only worked in Sweden, to be fair. I've done my whole school system in France, but I haven't actually worked in France. I haven't worked in any other countries. So I'm not sure. Mordu says cute as hell, thank you. Okay. Vondelpete says, I think Bufo Glennis is great and very special. I hope she is okay. Yeah. No, I'm glad that she's back and stuff. And I don't want to like talk to her about her behind her back, but I don't like when people just like write stuff in people's comments and think that like forget that we're human. Okay. Now I'm trying to think of my work Sona, but oh, I was going to tell you guys about my violin teacher and what his comments about words were, because we were talking about what does dominate mean. And when I was really small, I played violin, and I went to this woman's house, and it was like a manor place. Like she had an old chateau or something. And like she had these big gates and a big garden and stuff. And my mom would leave me there for the day on like a Saturday or something. And at that point I was maybe like 5 or 6 or something like that. And this woman had a lot of violins, but she was extremely strict. And one of her children was autistic, and now I realized that she was autistic, but that doesn't excuse her for how mean she was. She was homeschooling her kids, which is very rare in France. Like, you can't really homeschool your children in the same way that you can in the US or in other places. So yeah, it wasn't fun. I liked the violin, the sound of the violin, and I wanted to learn the violin, but she was just so mean, and she would shout, scream at her kids, and I know that's where I would watch. They would always have they would have these Disney movies. They would have Lion King, and they would have Dragon Ball Z, and they would have a Card Captor Sakura on the TV. And basically we would each at a time and go and see her and like play our piece. And while we were waiting, we would play with her kids. It was such a weird situation. Like, I'm wondering if these children experienced abuse, or I don't know. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I feel like something wasn't right. But anyway, I then changed to I went to the actual conservatory to learn how to play the violin. And I got a teacher who was also strict, but at least he was like within a system, and he was just a normal teacher. It was just that he had high expectations. And he told me like, oh, well, there's a difference between being strict, because he asked me about my previous violin teacher, and I said, well, she was strict. And he said, wouldn't you say rather that she was demanding? And I was like, at that age, like I was 8. Like I didn't know the difference between the word strict and demanding. And I was like, well, no, she was strict. Like, and my violin teacher was like, well, she maybe just had high expectations. And so he said that he also had high expectations, but that's because he wanted the best for me. And like he thought that I could do a lot. And that can be kind of a tricky tricky limbo zone, you know? Maybe being demanding is not always that great either. I don't know. That's the French word, exigeant. I don't know what that would be. Wow, I've had to look up lots of words in the dictionary today. Demanding, exacting, strict. Okay, so apparently you use the same word in English for both strict and for demanding. Yeah, and I don't like demands. I just get really, really mad at demands. I don't want people putting any demands on me. And I know that that's not how life works, but I don't want to be dominated, you know? And that's why I've said before on this channel that, like, I have issues with authority. And, like, anybody who's met me in real life, like, doesn't understand what that would mean. Because, like, they're like, but you're always following the rules, you know? But, like, inside, I'm, like, angry, you know? I can't deal with having rules put into place, you know? I'm like, you know, I just get mad for the fact that it is a rule. And I don't know what this strong reaction is about, but I've had it since I was small. Like, I guess that it's the INFP's sense of justice, you know? I don't know. I don't know if I'm just talking to a wall, guys. Do you have any similar experiences? Because I'm feeling kind of alone in this. We've been talking for an hour and 17 minutes. Usually these lives are around 1 hour and a half. Because I have no life. Okay. I don't actually watch Scrubs. Supercat. Maybe it's just annoying to you that certain people see themselves qualified to set rules for the others, and others don't even get a chance to have influence over their workspace. Yeah. Makes sense. Being dominated in any way by others definitely triggers me more than anything, actually. My approach is to be very icy to those people and vanish. Very INFP, I guess. Yeah, I don't like it. But yeah, so I took 2 days off from work. So at the moment I'm at one of my lowest points. So I don't know if, like, my current state is reflective of how I usually am. But yeah. Hey, me too. I like to learn more about A, then jump to B and C. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks, guys, because it feels like I'm just being annoying. Or like, what happened this week is that well, I told you guys about last week, how last week I was feeling terrible. Oh, Psycasserole says yes. Okay. Right. An INFP thing. Maybe we all are PDA people. Pathologically demand avoidant. Don't like to follow schedules, I guess, yeah. Why are you saying sorry, Mojo? Okay. Sorry, every time that I read Mojo, I think of the Powerpuff Girls. Isn't the monkey called Mojo? I forget. Anyway, I hope you found the label diagnosis with PDA for almost everything, and soon it won't be quite so scary. It really makes sense for you, and I don't really relate to autism or this person for myself. Okay. That's okay, Schumann. That's good. That's good. It is good. That's, I mean, it's not good to relate to this, but it helps. Okay, Vojo. I'm just, yeah, I haven't been having a great time because of my stupid pasta. So what happened is that I was in the laundry room and I was making a video for you guys, okay? And then I was reading a book and it was like la la la, and then I go to a place where there's a little bit more Wi-Fi, and basically my phone like alerts me that it's like a message on Facebook that says, "Hey, it's a neighbor from downstairs. You're like, are you alive? Are you alive? Your fire alarm has gone off." I was like, I'd completely forgotten. I was like confused as to what could have triggered a fire alarm. And then I realized, like, oh, so I rushed upstairs and like there's smoke everywhere again, and everything smelled like smoke again. And now I've put some smelly things around, but it does put a lot of stress on my system. And then I had to go to work the next day, and the nurse, the supervisor for the nurses, we were talking about the patient, and then she asked me like, "Oh, how are you doing? You seem tired." And I kind of burst into tears because I'm not doing well. And I showed her actually the picture of my home in France. That's a hoarder house. And, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. It's pretty scary. So, and she was like, "Oh, I see why you've had problems, you know, growing up. And also when I was on holiday there, why I wasn't getting any support, you know." And I cried so much, I just realized like I can't keep this week going. So I took 2 days off work, Thursday and Friday. And I went to the library. Like Thursday, I basically didn't leave my house, and I just lay in bed most of the day. And then yesterday, I left the house at least and showered and took care of myself. But yeah, it sucks. Wait, no demands, no schedules, no extras, no way. I'm sure I've lost out on promotions by saying no to extras, which just show that isn't how it should work. Yeah, no, I can't deal with extra demands. And one of my coworkers said that we should do more driving lessons, and I just got into a panic attack when I came back to my desk, you know, and I haven't been feeling well at all, and I've been crashing and burning, literally, and I don't know. I removed my battery just recently. It's just irritating. Fire equals liar. Hey. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. Your battery for what? Your battery for your phone? Or for your social? What is Mojo talking about? I don't know. Mojo is kind of like on another time scale than me, so I don't know when his comments are coming in. Okay. No, but so I had a terrible, terrible week. And last week was terrible too. And I felt too tired to do anything. I did write to my psychologist, so I will meet him next Wednesday. I had a meeting with the therapist who's doing the autism diagnostics stuff last Tuesday. And I just felt kind of annoyed that she just does 45 minutes and like asks me kind of irrelevant questions. And I don't know, I'm not getting any help out of this. I'm rather regressing. Well, do I... Wait, let's talk to Schumann first before he leaves. Unfortunately, I have to leave the stream already. Thanks for the pleasant stream. I wish everybody a better next week. Hope you guys can exchange some ideas about books towards the end again. Oh yeah, that's nice. So bye, Schumann. We can do that. But first, let's see. What does Alexander Washman have to say? Unrelated question. Do you believe in astrology? And I ask your sign. No, I don't believe in astrology. And the reason why is because I'm a Scorpio. It tends to not be perceived very well. And I've talked to other people who are also Scorpio, and they also hate astrology because people have such bad representation of, like, basically a Scorpio cannot be a human, you know? A Scorpio is a demon in human form. And it's like, for people who believe into astrology. So, like, I don't know, I think I've told you guys this, but once I was with a Polish doctor and she treated me like her daughter, and then she was like, oh, you're exactly like my daughter. What's your astrology sign? I'm like, I'm a Scorpio. And then she turned me like the cold shoulder for the rest of the week. It was like a terrible thing to be a Scorpio. So yeah, I'm biased against astrology because basically, if a Scorpio is supposed to be a manipulative, dominating person, okay? And I'm not. Yes, Vondelpete. Also, she was telling me a lot of homophobic things. Like because I casually pointed to her desk where she had like gay flag, and she said, "Oh well, we had to do this certification, but like I think that LGBT plus whatever is like just nonsense, and it's just complicating your life and not leading to good families or something." So I did not come out to her because already saying to her that I was a Scorpio was too much for her, apparently. So yeah, that was an experience. Mojo says, been there. Last time I went to a psychiatric and told my social worker, what she agreed upon. They sure enough asked me, that's what they told you? Yeah. I'm tired of my therapist because she doesn't want to do any therapy with me. Like, I'm not human at all, just Mr. Patient or Mr. Client. Yeah, I know. But like, I'm really tired of my therapist because she's like so into like, let's diagnose for autism and ADHD. And let's not give you any help in the meantime. It's like, okay, great. So now I have to write to my psychologist again, and he's coupled to my work. So then I had to tell my boss about that. That really sucks. Anyway, I think extra expectations are only nice if it comes from a positive place. Say if you are, for example, people who value your work and do not necessarily think you have to fulfill all ones. Yes, extra expectations can be nice when you're valued at your workplace, but unfortunately I've also experienced that, and it can be kind of a lot. Because when I had my meltdown in front of the nurse boss on Wednesday. She said, well, for what it's worth, like all of my colleagues, all the nurses basically, enjoy having you as a colleague, and like they love having you there, and they find that you're really competent. And so I wrote, like, I told her, like, yeah, that's good, but at the same time, that means that a lot of nurses, they come to me for help when actually they should maybe be asking somebody else, another one of the doctors. It's just that they're too scared to go see the other doctors, or they don't trust the other doctors enough. And that's a problem, because then they're putting more work on me, which I shouldn't be doing, just because I'm nice. So yeah, that's where I don't really like the extra expectations, even if it's positive. Keo Hakala, hello. Do you have any creative artistic pursuits to express your feelings and thoughts? Not at the moment. I've been thinking, like, joining a painting class or something, just do something completely different. I do have crochet. Basically, I did used to do journaling, but like at the moment I can't do anything. Unfortunately, I do like putting stickers on stuff, and I like using my little. I have these little pens, like they're like marker pens. I like just drawing little swirls with them. Not really super artistic, but I've been trying to get into my violin, but like at the moment, I really crashed on Wednesday and Thursday. I really wasn't there, so I'm not ready yet to like start anything new. But maybe I will in a few weeks. Ditch a therapist and get more into running. Yeah. It's been pretty bad weather. I know that it's a bad excuse, but today has been kind of okay, but it's been raining tons. And I don't know, I just haven't been feeling that good. I went to the massage therapist last week, and she said I was super tense on one side, on my left side. And I couldn't figure it out because, like, shouldn't be like I'm right-handed. Why would I be tense on my left side? But I don't know. I should be doing more physical exercise. It's just, as always, it's a demand. And that's just, I don't like demands. But I know that it will be good for my health. It's just that I have to do things like my own way at my own pace. And that's hard. And ditching the therapist is not that easy because she's basically my connection to my healthcare provider, and I don't want to lose that because I had to wait 3 months to get it in the first place. So yeah. Ingrid, you said you have no artistic outlets currently. YouTube is the outlet. Well, I don't know. Is that creative? I don't do any editing in these videos, so I don't know. I know that people have said that creative, it's an outlet, yes, but is it creative? Less so. Maybe you sit in a position that puts more pressure on the left side. Yeah, that's true. The ironic thing is that the next client was my secretary. So we met in the waiting room, and I was like, oh, hi. So she's the one who makes me, that works for me, so that I don't need to sit that badly. So I sit kind of, yeah, I don't sit straight, I don't stand up straight. It's probably that. Well, that's nice, like, Casserole, that you think that YouTube is a creative outlet. It is an outlet. It is an outlet. Because it is kind of my journaling. I have a hard time doing my journaling like writing stuff down. It's just, for some reason I can get it better. If I had like a good text-to-speech diary, like in my ideal world, I could like print out the transcriptions of these videos and put that in my diaries, basically. Or, you know, something of the kind. Right side more with internal issues. Left side may indicate with others, and right side with internal issues. Where are you getting that from, Mojo? You mean, what issues am I having with my left side? I don't know. But yeah, we are creators. Yeah, I don't like that name, but okay. It's better than YouTuber, I guess. Yeah, it's like Casserole. You actually create stuff, though. Like, you do these cool edits. But okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. Thanks, Brandon. Imisi Foldasi, true, because self-expression is a form of art. With the left brain, wait, what does the left brain do? The left brain is all the logical stuff. Do you mean that I have an issue with the logical side? Or that I got a head injury somehow on my right side of my brain? Left brain. I don't remember what is, but the left brain connects to the right side of the body, and the right side, so that doesn't make any sense, Mojo. I don't know. I don't know. I was just like, that was kind of the sign that everything was going downhill, basically. That is scientific. Yes, nothing of what we're saying is making any scientific sense. I agree. The self-expression on YouTube is definitely something I'd call a creative outlet. Well, that's a nice way to think about it. Well, telling my therapist about the fact that I do YouTube videos about personality types was the most embarrassing thing I've ever had to do. It was terrible. Isn't analyzing also being creative? You draw a new conclusion from discussing the things you experience. It is quite creative in a sense, and it's mental work. Yeah, I know that's like, you know, people say that programming is like creative work. I'm not into programming, but I can see that. This is more like old wives' tale. Oh, yeah. Left equals others, right is the self. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see. But like, I'm right-handed. Yeah, I don't know. But I have problems with my left. You're posing a very big ethical problem. I don't know. I don't know what my problem is. But yeah, this is getting super long. We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes, so maybe we should round it up before I start like complaining about my life for like 30 more minutes. I don't know what my next videos will be about. So if you have any ideas, also if you have any book recommendations, I'll gladly take them. Even though you should be careful what you tell therapists, they are morons. Yeah, I do know that. I know that. But, like, I have a hard time, you know? I'm like, well, okay, I'm supposed to be honest, so then I'll go see Oppenheimer the movie. Oof, yeah, that's. I was about to see it with my brother, but then my brother wanted to see it with friends. Good news, my brother has actually started applying for university courses again. So it feels like he's on the right track. However, my mother doesn't seem to be doing too well because she seems to go to sleep really early, and I think that she's depressed. Hey, trainee therapist here. Yeah, well, it really depends. I mean, I love my psychologist, the one that's coupled to my work. He's great, but that's also because he's young and he's he's not been like, oh, I had to tell my therapist about M&Ms. She didn't know what M&Ms were, and I was like, of course she thinks that I'm like from another planet and I'm autistic because we can't even connect on the subject on M&Ms. I was like, I know that M&Ms haven't been in Sweden for a very long time, but like, wow. I felt like, wow, we're really speaking different languages out here. So obviously, yeah, I don't really like this therapist because she just, yeah. Before I got into all of this, I used to be kind of a little bit anti-psychiatry because I didn't like my experience with SSRIs. And now I'm back on them and like I can see the point, and I see the point in therapy, and it's hard, but it's good. It's just that some therapists, like the 70-year-old therapist that I met, who said that being on the computer was like that I valued that I was kind of stupid for valuing my YouTube time more than washing the dishes. It's like, of course I value it more, but I know that washing the dishes is important. But like for him, he hasn't grown up with social media, so he can't get it. Also, he just assumed a lot of things about me, and he went too fast, so I didn't like that. I think that he was like an ENFP or something. Anyway, I've been through some. There was a therapist once who wanted me to do art therapy, and she just was super confused why I burst into tears while doing that. So that was an awful experience. And she was like, yeah, she didn't like that. And then there was another one who was like, once I told a therapist that I wanted to be a cat because cats have a great life, you know? And he took that for me being suicidal. And like, yeah, sorry guys, bringing this up, but that wasn't what was happening. And so it's wild reading my own journal. It's like the misinterpretations and misunderstandings. It's just bad. Therapy can actually sometimes feel like manipulation a lot, as if people trying to help don't take things you tell them seriously and try to shape you a certain way without you knowing. Yeah. So now I've become convinced I have autism, you know, for some stupid reason. They are so literature. I mean, take things. Oh, you mean literally? If you give them an example, yeah. Yeah, so that my example about the cat. Also, one of them didn't know what hoarding was, so I had to show them a picture of what a hoarding house was. And another person said that because I said that it hadn't worked well with other therapists, she said that there must be a problem with me because I was the common denominator in that, and that I was being impossible pretty much because of that. That sucks. I told one I had an anthropomorphic thing and was creative, and they asked me. Okay, I haven't got the rest of the message yet. When we listen to, try person-centered. You get to talk all the time. A good therapist should make you feel like you're being listened to all the time. How long have you been able to spell? Speak to animals? Wait. Oh, it's because you liked, like, I'm guessing that you were into wolves or something. Okay, that's the most common one. And then they asked you, like, how long have you been able to speak to animals? Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I've heard about the person-centered thing. It's just like, it seems here, that's the problem. The reason why I'm at this therapist right now is because she says, is basically that's the only therapy that they're able to provide me is internet CBT. And they're not allowed, like, they don't have spots or they don't have enough therapists to provide with other kinds of therapy or with person-centered therapy. Like, they can't do just conversation therapy because they don't have enough resources. So everything they do is internet CBT, which is basically something I've already done. I was part of a study to do CBT for anxiety by internet, but I don't have the routines and that kind of thing in order to sorry, I'm annoyed by the CDT killed my baby. What? What? Are you talking about CBT? Killed your baby? What the hell? The more I'm speaking to you, Mojo, that the less things are making sense. But basically, CBT is like the gold standard. It's what everybody has to do in order to get any kind of therapy. And it's not always great for people who have been gaslit. It's not great for people who have neurodivergencies. Yeah, she dead. Okay. Great, Mojo. I don't know if I want you to explain or not. CBT seems nice and cheap to set up. Yeah, well, it's cheap. It's nice because it helps like the superficial level of stuff. And I do need help with that. And I have done a CBT now for social anxiety, but in person with work therapy. Poor baby. Whose baby? I thought it was your baby. She tried. Are you the baby? This is a weird conversation. No, but so CBT, it sucks. It sucks too bad, terribly. If you're a person who questions your own thoughts all the time, then it's kind of like about questioning your thoughts. So it's kind of a mind games, you know. I do get it. It's about like coupling your automatic negative thoughts. I mean, I've done the whole series on this channel. I meant cheap for governments. Yes. Also, it's a thing that they can study because it's so organized, structured. So that's why it's the thing that is most recommended, because it's the thing that's most studied. And you can't study other kinds of talk therapy as well, as you can for CBT. So I'm not saying that it's bad. I say that it's good, but sometimes it's not enough. And I mean, I've done CBT with a good psychologist, and it really helped. And I didn't need to pay because it was paid for by my job. But I've also done a CBT online for a study a few years ago. But it didn't help me at all because I was so disorganized and had no discipline. So that's it. And I can do a new CBT, but not an internet CBT, because that's like, I have no discipline to do this, you know? And I also need to be able to talk about my thoughts, you know? So I have 5 sessions with my psychologist that's coupled to my work, and we'll see how that goes. Next one is next week, and I hope that it really helps me get out of this rut that I've put myself in, because I really crashed on Thursday. Anyway, sorry for bringing down. We've almost at 2 hours, so let's round this up with people's book recommendations. Or if I disconnected myself. It got disconnected for 1 second, but I'm back. Just for 8 minutes. Okay, let's try to make this 2 hours. Nobody will rewatch this afterwards, so. Hannah Arendt, Responsibility and Judgment, Banality of Evil. Okay. That's some pretty intense stuff. I don't usually read philosophy, but maybe there are some people out there who do. Anyone else? I'm reading Dance, Dance, Dance by Murakami and not liking it. Oh, I haven't read anything by Murakami. I'm wondering, like, what's the best book to read by him? Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. Yeah, I've seen that one recommended to me before. I did not like the ending of Jane Eyre movie, but it's on my reading list. I have a Goodreads, and I have that on my list. But I'll put Dance, Dance, Dance by Murakami, and I'll look into the Hannah Arendt. It just seems philosophy is not really my thing yet. Maybe Schopenhauer sucks, and also rules. Okay. Yes, you've told me about Oppenheimer. I will see it. I was thinking of watching. I'm going to watch Suzume, the anime movie, because I like Weathering with You and that kind of thing. So I have like both a really like tragic movie and a happy movie. So, or a happy movie, at least a more chill movie, you know. My ISFJ friend went and watched Oppenheimer, and he liked it. It's funny because he went and watched it with his mom, and I watched Barbie with my mom, which was good. So I'm going to be watching Suzume. I'm going to be watching, my brother has been recommending anime to me. So he's been watching, or he likes Attack on Titan. So he wants me to watch that. He wants me to watch something called The Spy Family. It's supposed to be good. And right now I'm watching something that you recommended was Your Lie in April, which is about it's an anime about a violinist and a pianist that fall in love, basically. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I need to read that Murakami book. I'm interested. About my books that I have from my library is I have Les Années by Agnano. Oh yeah, Your Lie in April. I'm completely destroyed by that. And my brother said I'm only halfway through, and he said I'll keep being destroyed. So that's awesome. It's really sad. Penny Dreadful is pretty. Okay, I've heard of that. I also have on my reading list Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. So, but that's nonfiction. You started learning Japanese. That's good. I don't know much Japanese. I know Ohayo gozaimasu. That's like all. But I do watch the animes with like subtitles, like the sub version, not the dub version. So you get to hear like they could say hi, to say yes. I don't know much Japanese. And okasa, it means mother. There are these words that like keep popping up, and like kokoro is heart. You know, I know the kawaii kind of words. Oh, Alexander wants to go there. You like to travel? I wish I could go to Japan. Vondelpete, please take me to Japan one day. But I've never been in Japan. I haven't done much traveling since COVID, actually. You have some good culture recommendations in Japan. Yes. Let's go to Jesus's grave. You will have become the first person to have visited Jesus's grave twice. That's a good thing. I'm trying to look at what books I have. I also have some French book like Le Deuxième Sexe by Simone Weil. I want to read that. I'm getting into my feminist movement stuff. The Bell Jar is also on my list. Pulp by Charles Bukowski. Yeah, I want to go to Japan now. Okay, well, I'll save all these. Wait, oh, Supercat. Osamu's Desai's No Longer Human. But this book isn't happy. But I found the ideas about human experience. They are very relatable and interesting. Poets by Franz Kafka. Oh, I finally read The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. That was really good, actually. I didn't expect it to be like the way it was. No Longer Human. Okay. Yeah, I remember you, Vondelpete, you were reading that. Yeah, he was also INFP. The Ballad of Lee Cotton, Chris Wilson. Okay, so I have a long list now of things that I should read and that I'm never going to read, but I'll put them in my Goodreads so that I have them for later. I know that I have The Waves by Virginia Woolf, also Ursula Plath, I forget. Somebody recommended earlier. Kafka's The Castle. That's good. Yeah, okay, so more Kafka. Yeah, I guess that we like sad books. Yeah, and I was reading Kafka The Fall, exactly. That's what I was reading. So I've read 2 books by Kafka. Oh no, it wasn't Kafka. What the hell? Okay, anyway. I'm It's Camus. It starts with C, not with a K. Okay. Read everything from Kafka. Okay. Yes, exactly, Vondelpete. I knew that something was wrong. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Okay. Wow, we've spent 2 hours together. We are so crazy. Especially you, Vondelpete. Okay. We are all so crazy. But all of you guys who have stayed here for 2 hours, thank you. Those of you who stayed just a few minutes, so thank you too. Those who have already left, also thank you. Yes, all the INFPs and INFJ authors, we need them. And the plague is his #1 work. Yeah, I know. I think that my grandfather has that book actually in his house. Vondelpete, do you live in Japan? No, he doesn't live in Japan. But he has gone to the cult places in Japan. And has become basked in his cult aura there. Yeah, okay. Oh, we are so silly. Okay, yeah, thank you everybody. I'll just write bye in the chat. Bye. Bye everyone. Okay, then we'll close off for a prayer. Okay. Last novel of dying author. Bye. Okay, wait. How do we close this? I don't even know.